All right, you guys, we are back to Table Talk. We are still in May. We're actually still in the same clothes.
Yeah.
It's the same day. But my name is Anne Marie.
I'm Brielle Rochester.
And I am the owner of SustainableLife.live. And we are here today to talk about mental health, but my favorite subject, which is social media and the connection between mental health and social media. So again, I want to make sure that I'm getting the numbers right. But this is from Instagram, by the way, you guys. This was in their internal documents. They stated that 32% of teenage girls felt worse about their bodies after engaging in social media. By the way, the percentage of other things that could have happened negatively on the platform is much higher than 32%. That's just 32% that felt bad about their bodies. Is that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
So I want to talk to you today about mental health, social media, and technology. So just give me, because you talked to me a little bit, but share what's gone on with your team, your teammates, and some of their issues specifically with body comparison and eating disorder.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's always this standard of if you're a good athlete, you're skinny, you have muscle, and there's different types of bodies for different sports, which I think is ridiculous. Like, a runner's supposed to be skinny and not have muscle and whatever. But, so for sure, I think on social media, you definitely see these amazing athletes and how they look, and you hear it too. People tell you, like, that's how, like, a runner should look, that's how a soccer player should look, and stuff like that. And then that gets into eating habits, and definitely there's been like restrictions I've heard from teammates, and you just see it everywhere, honestly, where they feel bad about eating something, or they just don't know how to properly fuel themselves because they're trying to look a certain way and accomplish this goal that's unrealistic probably.
Yep.
And I think it's a huge problem, and I mean probably women and men's sports, but women too. That's what I've experienced. So that's what I've seen. Yeah. So it's definitely very relevant, and you see it all the time.
Here's the thing that I love about what you said, is that you talked about body image or body surveillance, not just about being thin, but also about being strong. So I think sometimes what happens is that people are like, okay, we shouldn't talk to people about being thin. So instead we're going to say, you should be super strong, or you should be super fit, or which is still body surveillance, right? Like, you don't necessarily have to look a certain way to perform athletically, right? Yeah. And that fuel comes from nutrition, and nutrition comes in a bunch of glorious different forms, and it depends on what works for you on any given day, right?
And I think when people say you need to be stronger, everyone has a different interpretation of that. Like, what does that mean? And then that's where people can go in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about what it feels like to be an athlete, an accomplished athlete on social media. Talk to me a little bit about the pressures you or your friends have felt.
Yeah, definitely during my recruiting process, you see all your friends recruiting. Also during like difficult times when it was COVID and everything, it's like, how are you even getting these coaches to come watch you play? Like, they can't even go to games. But anyways, I think a huge thing I struggled with was comparing the name of the school. You want to go somewhere where, oh, so-and-so knows about this school, like I want to go there. You just hear big names and you think that's where I want to go, when a lot of other there's so many colleges, and the name shouldn't matter. Actually, one of my teammates' sister, the piece of advice she gave me, she was like, don't pay attention to the name. Like, you want to find a school that fits you, and if it's not as big as you think, like, that's okay. It doesn't matter what other people think. Like, you should be doing it for yourself. So I think that's one struggle I really went through.
It's terrible. And so it's terrible. I'm just going to put it out there. It's so interesting because back when I was applying to college, before computers, back in the dinosaur age, one of the things that the principal of the school that I went to said is, I want you to think of 10 people who you admire the most, and then I want you to go and look where they went to college. So I went and did that. I looked at 10 people that I knew, that I really liked and I admired, and I thought, gosh, it would be awesome to be like them one day. None of them went to the same college. But the interesting thing is, I didn't have the pressure of social media. I didn't have the pressure of announcing where I was going or wearing the t-shirt or again seeing where people went. And there is this judgment. Not that there's not fun pieces of it, by the way. There are super fun pieces of it. Like, so I'm not taking that away. There are super fun pieces of it. But how can we do better as a community to help with that stigma, or realize that the amount of likes that you get, or that quantified self, like we're constantly figuring out like how we measure against somebody else. How can we do that better?
Yeah, I think comparison is definitely, like, my grandma always says, comparison is a thief of happiness. And I mean, there's not really a way to stop a community from like comparing, but I think that's one thing just internally everyone could do, is like stop comparing yourself to people on social media.
Yeah.
They only post the bright sides of their life. You don't know what the other side is, you know what I mean? And yeah, just being like there for people and supporting each other. I think that's a big thing too.
Yeah. And as far as specifically body image and eating disorders or disordered eating, within high school athletics, how do you think we can be doing a better job there?
Yeah. So like I kind of said in the other video, I feel like a lot of resources don't go in depth of how you should be fueling your body. Like, they just say fuel your body, but what does that mean? You don't really know. So I think it needs to be more individualized, and you need to like do more research and just tell people like, you need to, how are we going to learn if no one's telling us how to fuel our body and what we need and what we don't need? And I think it just needs to be more person to person.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And what do you think the responsibility is in the high schools to navigate technology use and or social media with students?
Yeah, I think for a high school it can be challenging.
I know, I agree.
Like, I don't know what else really they could do, but yeah, I think just, I don't know.
I know, I agree. I don't think there's an easy solution, and I'm not even sure it's appropriate, right? Like, what are our responsibilities as educators and coaches? But what about, let's talk about this then. What about your sports being shared on Instagram and Twitter and those type of things through the high schools? Does that feel good? Does it not feel good? Talk to me about that.
Oh yeah, I guess, I think on Twitter specifically, I see a lot of tweets about the high school, like praising people for different accomplishments, which is great. Like, you're helping people, but I think sometimes, it can be harmful in that other people are comparing, oh, why is this person doing so much better than me? So I think it's hard. It's a tricky slope.
It's a tricky slope.
Because you want to give people credit where it's deserved, but it's also like, what about this person who's almost there?
Totally. Or could the credit be back to the old-fashioned day where you like did it in the announcement the PA system? I don't know. I don't have the answers. I mean, and you don't have the answers. We're just talking, right? So, what are as you move into, can I tell people what your next steps are?
Yeah.
Okay, so the next steps are playing at college.
Alabama Birmingham.
Super exciting, right? So tell me a little bit how you are specifically going to manage this aspect of mental health. We know that to be an athlete and to be a thriving athlete, particularly at the college level, we need physical health, we need mental health, we need spiritual health, we need emotional health. So tell me a little bit about what you're going to do to keep you in check.
Yeah, I've already met a lot of the players and coaches and staff, and specifically the athletic trainer there. And I got her number. We've been talking a little bit because of my injury. She needs to know all this stuff. So, and I think a big thing I need to work on is communication and being vocal about what I need. So whether that's going to my coach and saying, I need help with eating, can you direct me to a nutritionist? I'll do that. Or going to the athletic trainer and just talking about my physical needs. I think I just need to talk and speak up more about what I need, I guess.
I agree. And that is exactly what we need. We need to instill with people the confidence that they are in a place that they can be safe and that the people they're going to can be trusted to keep their information sacred and private and point them in the direction that they need to go. So that is exactly what you need to be doing. She does not know I'm going to do this, but I will tell you the hardest thing about coaching in high school is when the seniors leave, and it like every year, it's like after I go through the heartache of I can't believe they're leaving, but you're so ready. You're ready to launch. You're ready to go and see what's next, and I'm so excited for you, and I hope that you personally know that I will always be here as a resource for you. And your biggest cheerleader.
Thanks, Samson.
Aw. That was totally impromptu, but thanks for listening,
Bye.
you guys. Bye.